What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a sombre match reaction here as Liverpool were beaten by 3-0 by Crystal Palace to knock us out of this season's League Cup and send us from 6 losses from the last 7 games. Arna made a mockery of the competition. He made a mockery of the supporters that went to the game with that pathetic attempt at a squad that he put out, and it came back to bite us in the ass. Nobody is saying we should have gone full strength with the starting 11, but absolutely there should have been options on the bench to come in to try and rescue that game. It is unacceptable that this football club has lost 6 out of 7 games. It is unacceptable that our manager is looking for excuses and a way out. Not good enough. However you feel, whatever moment you're in, whatever you think enough is enough, I'm not here to judge you. I'm going to reiterate what I've said. Tonight was never going to be make or break for me with Arna, but it has absolutely added another negative mark on his card. And for me, if he loses 2 of the next 3 games, it's bye-bye, mate, you're done. Because this is pathetic. It is Liverpool Football Club, the most successful club in English football history, and our manager is throwing away competitions after we've assembled a squad that we were told. You didn't say this, I didn't say this. The club, the media and the narrative was that Liverpool's summer transfer business was for domestic domination and to make sure that Liverpool could compete across every front this season. The very first chance he gets, the manager goes back and turns his back on that and puts the kids out there and throws them under a bus. Absolutely unacceptable that we are that weak of a squad in this competition when there's a chance to get positivity back, a chance to get back to winning ways. And that's without those fans that spent their hard-earned money to go to see that game. Whether it's people going up and down the length of the UK, travelling from abroad is the only chance they can get to a game, and Arna sticks 2 fingers up at them and throws them all under a bus. For what? For what? To rest a bunch of underperforming players that shouldn't need a fucking rest? We're in October. And this man's already starting to give up. It's absolutely nonsensical. And I want to know how you feel about it. If you would like to submit your player ratings, you know what to do. Join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp. Scan that QR code there on the screen. Connor puts the form in there. We don't have a man of the match poll tonight because how could we? But what we do have is a poll that says Arna Slot in, Arna Slot out. Which one are you? For what it's worth, I'm not at the Arna Slot out point yet, but I am really close. I am getting very close. I want to go through some of the comments because obviously there was a lot in. This one said Liz. Oh, I think we've gone back to way earlier there. Liz, let me go up the other end. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up and play through all of this. Yeah, this one. Gareth said, get Glasner out of contract at the end of season. John Edinger said, for Grandad, thank you, absolute legend as well. John, and thank you to everybody else again. And if you don't know what that means, sorry for the 4 Grandad. There was a gentleman in the comments earlier on who said that his granddad spent 5 hours on a train to get to this game. First game back in 6 years, and that's what he was met with tonight. So we decided if this man can reach out to us, we want to help Grandad get to see a game that will not scar him mentally. So we want to help Grandad either recoup some of the cost for this or get him to another game, because this is absolutely pathetic, and it breaks my heart that people spent their hard-earned money to go and see that from our manager just throwing away the competition. It's just unacceptable, and thank you all for being incredible human beings. This one as well for Grandad, MUFC. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Lance said, heartbreaking, you never walk alone from New Zealand, for Grandad. Slot looked shocked when the fans were leaving. If he thinks, and look, I don't know, like I said, we all look at this through different eyes. Some people never really care about the League Cup and it's a throwaway competition. But I do think the context of everything is important, right? And for him to look up and feel in any way surprised that people are leaving when they've seen another butchering at Anfield, in a chance where we could have started building momentum. And nobody's saying you had to put out the best 11. Every fan I spoke to before the game understands the fact it's going to be a much changed team. But look at our contemporaries. Look at Arsenal. Look at Newcastle. Look at Crystal Palace. Look at any other team that's still in this competition, that's in the Premier League and is in Europe as well. They had far stronger squads. They may have changed their 11, but they had a strong bench to come on and save the game if needs be. We basically knew that if we went 1 goal down, it was over, because we've nobody to rescue it. And he's just thrown away the competition. 1 of 4 trophies we have a chance to win each year, and he's just given up 1 of them. That's unacceptable to me as a fan. Unacceptable. And especially in the context of what's happening. This one said, Joe McPherson said, this manager and group of players have forgotten what it means to represent this club and us fans. Some rely on Liverpool as an outlet to escape. I would be very much, Joe, one of those people you're talking about who rely on Liverpool as an outlet. And when I have my manager coming out before the game with this crap, which was, people know this club and follow this club, know that we use this competition for younger players to give them a chance to play at Anfield. We also have 5 injuries, which isn't helpful. Nah. Sorry, Arna. People that follow this club, like me and everybody else in the chat, know that yes, we do blood youngsters in this competition, but we win it. We blood youngsters with a chance to win the game. Not to just go out there to be sacrificial lambs to the slaughter because you want to give your over-pampered stars a rest, your underperforming players a rest. Grow a pair. Fucking grow a pair. And start holding these senior players to account. How about that, Arna? Then let's see if they earn a rest. Because they had a rest from March onwards when the league was practically won. They had a rest when they were partying all summer. They had their rest. Now is work time. Darren said, feel sorry for paying fans putting out that squad. It's a disgrace, mate. A disgrace that he put out that squad. Sorry for raising my voice to you, mate. Wasn't aimed at you. I'm 1 game away from out. If we can't beat Villa, we're doomed. Afterwards, justice for Grandad. Chris Tatton Music said, for Grandad, that was embarrassing. I didn't even watch. I've had enough. Madrid will spank us. So look, like I've said, there's a chance to build confidence and momentum tonight. Go strong, win the game. At least numerically, it stops the rot. It stops the rot. But now we've beaten Frankfurt and we've lost 6 other games. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Sam Walsh said, for the lad's Grandad, heartbreaking. The lad has gone out with that performance. Let's get him back for another one on us. Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you. Itachi said, I'm fed up with this shit for Grandad. In-gear driving school said Slot needs to go. The detective said, I might be the minority here, but I thought up until the first goal, our structure and shape looked decent. Pity what happened. Hoping we can play some structure and shape and they're playing Saturday. So, to go back to your point, you're right. They were doing okay. They were doing okay out there. And, you know, in a normal context, going 1 goal down, 2 goals down, you can think, okay, well then we empty the bench at half-time. We try to get it back to 2-2, see if we can win it on penalties and go through. But he negated that option with that team selection tonight. So you are right to highlight that it wasn't, you know, it's no embarrassment to those younger players out there. This is not a reflection on them, in my opinion, and I would dare say most fans' opinions. You know, their careers aren't going to be made or broken by losing tonight out there. This isn't on the kids. This is on the manager. Using them as sacrificial lambs to cover his own arse. Not good enough. You shouldn't even do a player ratings. It's unfair on the boys. It's very evident. It's getting very toxic. Inept coaching and manager now. Players are too cooked and have no accountability. So, respectfully, I do understand where you're coming from. But it's not on me to change my match routine because Arna's bottled it. I do get where you're coming from because, yes, it's going to be harsh on the players with some of the scores. But I also need to have my say in there about the manager as well. And some of the other players who are out there. Like, one thing I would say, mate, is why do you put your 2 left-backs out there? 2 left-backs and you play them both. Now, we're talking about building up youngsters for the future. Well, Nalo tonight has come on and played his 2nd game for the senior team and has been sent off again because he was trying to stop a last man back, stop the score getting worse, and he pulled the player back and got sent off. So that's his confidence dented again, and it's down to the manager. So I'm not going to change my match day formula because of Arne. If anything needs to change here, it's not me. So Rake said, nonsense, Craig, we need to keep the senior players fit for Villa. I respect that you disagree. That's no problem. Yeah, I don't really have much to add, mate. You're entitled to your opinion, and if you think it's okay for Arne to throw the competition away, get a beaten 3-0 at home, have the stadium half empty by the end of it, to rest the players who've shit the bed so far this season, cool. You be you. But I have standards. This one, Stevie G on interim or somebody else like Zidane. Leonardo said, as a Juventus fan and new Liverpool fan since Chiesa joined team, I've been following you for the past year and a half. I think your channel and you are top notch. This is for Grandad. Regards from the US. Thank you, Leonardo, and much love to you, sir. Appreciate your kind words and your support. Inexcusable for Arne to protect himself over attempting to win a football match. I'm not Arne out either, but he's got 5 games to save his job. So for me, he's got to the international break to save his job, and he needs 6 points in the league, 4 at a minimum, and a victory over Real Madrid. If he beats Villa, loses to Real Madrid, and loses to Man City, I'm still going to say I think it's time for him to go. Unless there are very extenuating circumstances and we're really unlucky in those games. Because what is most important here is we haven't had one performance, not one, this season where we've all gone, yeah, that's us, that's better. No, we went away to Frankfurt, who were there for the beating. We win, and then he changes it back. He changes everything around back to what wasn't working again. Yeah, crazy. Ralph said for Grandad, there's 10 post, no clue, and we have Arne flop. The lack of respect and the arrogance from Slot is hard to forgive, said Kevin Schaefer. Arne out tonight, this is punishment, said Marv. Simon Jackman said, I feel Slot's arrogance is an issue, the way we finished last season and out tonight. So I'm glad you brought that up, because you have to take the situation and last season into account. At the end of last season, I was getting angry at us not winning games of football, and I was being told by some fans, calm down, we've won the league, the lads are on the beach. But honestly, if you've been in any high level of anything, doesn't matter what it is, in your job, in sport, you can't just switch on and off standards. You either have a culture at a football club that is about winning and accountability, or you don't. You don't have it when it suits you, and then not have it when it doesn't. We are either a football club with standards that wants to be successful, or we're not. And this dip in form came from the end of last season. We got into the start of this season, and I want to give my fans credit here, because my fellow Liverpool fans, me included, said we may have won the first 5 games, but we haven't exactly been convincing. And it doesn't feel like we are convincing. Then we start to lose games, and the manager still doesn't seem to have a way to alter it or change things. We've called time and time again for him to drop players that aren't playing well. And what has he done tonight? He's yet again stitched up Chiesa by putting him out there in a game that he knows full well is going to be very difficult to be convincing in. He's thrown Rio Ingamo under the bus again, and he's just basically given a run out to players that he can't be arsed with. That's what he's done. How is that acceptable? Because again, I'm going to come back to the summer. We built a squad. We built a squad to compete across all competitions so there wouldn't be another Plymouth Argyle. Well, here we are at home getting dumped out 3-0 by Palace with the kids out there. It's not acceptable. It isn't good enough at any level. If Ruben Amorim, Mikel Arteta, or any other manager was in the position our gaffer is in right now, we'd all be on their fan channels laughing and asking why they've got no standards and why they aren't sacking him. Am I wrong? You're telling me if remember, because before United beat us, Amorim was a couple of results away from being sacked, according to a lot of people. And we lost to them at home. I don't know what else to say. Nobody takes any pleasure in this. Nobody wants to be here giving out about the manager. But let's be honest about it. No identity, no fluidity, no aggression, no tactical nous, 101 excuses. Ben said, for Grandad, thank you. Appreciate that. Dara Doyle said, for Grandad, he deserved better. We all did. Slot insulted the whole fan base with that team. Disgusting to throw a cup tie when we needed to build momentum. What's he going to complain about now? We've been falling off a cliff since the start of the year. I mean, the end of last season, we tripped over the line and nothing has changed since February. Exactly. You know, and I sit here now, and I could sit here and say, I told you so. But I don't want to say I told you so. Because I want it to be different. But it isn't being different. We've done that one, sorry. I don't want a manager that puts a lineup out to lose. And he did. You're right. He did. That's a team he put out to lose. He'll never say that. They never would. Of course not. But he's talking about playing the kids at home in the competition. Well, what good has that done those kids? What good has that done them? They now go in there going, am I at this level? Should I be at this level? Do I deserve to be at this level? Whereas what they should be doing is out there with a mixture of senior players around them, helping them through the game, talking them through the game, correcting little errors for them, but taking the brunt of the anger and frustration if that comes. But he didn't give anything tonight other than a white flag. Because that's what he did. He went out there and waved the white flag in this competition. After telling us all that we're assembling a team to compete and dominate domestically, he waves the white flag. And that's somehow acceptable. Hard to believe it's been 3.5 years back on YouTube. But thank you, mate. Appreciate you being with us. Thank you for your support. Cumbria Cleaning Company said, mark my words, Liverpool will finish out the top 6 if Slot isn't removed from his duties. Do you think it's time to go for Arna? Said Alexander Gunane. I'm not there yet, mate. I'm not. As angry as I am, I'm not there yet. But I am there by the international break if it hasn't changed. And I'm trying to be as balanced as it might not look like it, but I promise you, anybody who knows me knows this is me biting my tongue. Because right now, I feel ashamed. I feel angry at those match-going fans that paid their hard-earned money to see that shite. And I see a manager who is delusional. Delusional. There's nothing else to say about it. It's just excuses. And that is an excuse of a team he put out. A team that he can go, well, it was much change. Oh, we're out. Oh. Well, what about the other teams that are still playing in European competitions? Spurs, Arsenal, Newcastle, Palace. All putting out stronger squads. All emptying the bench. Saka scores off the bench for Arsenal. We're 2-0 down, and what do we have on the bench? Even more kids. So what happens? He brings Nallo on. Nallo gets sent off. How's that going to build his confidence, Arna? That's twice now young Nallo's been sent off. How the fuck is that going to build his confidence? For the Grandad, Craig, I'm fuming. Enough is enough. He has to go, said JG. Fritz Frank said, I believe with every fibre of my being that Arna chose the squad, so he had to, so he had an out because a loss with a stronger lineup would have been worse. Agreed, Stevie G, interim manager, said Mike Zacharias. For Grandad, said Mr. Dar, or Misty Dar, thank you. You're all so kind. And I do hope that gentleman gets in touch. Writings on the wall after we secured the title last season, and Arne Slot tried new tactics and formations that looked ordinary for Grandad. And that's the thing, right? I promise you, if we were sitting here and I was seeing a new system with mistakes that were coming from players getting to grips with a new system, I'd be far more understanding. But we're not. We're seeing a team that is slower. We're seeing a team that has no press. We're seeing a team that has no identity. And we're seeing a team with underperforming players. Nothing shows progression here. Nothing shows that we are unlucky. We are being beaten. We are being outfought. We are being outworked. We are being outcoached. Writing on the wall, did he secure the title last season? We've done that one. Tipsy Dipsy said, one shot on target in the entire game is criminal. Klopp had stronger benches in these games. If anything went wrong, Slot has made us look unrecognisable. Look at the bright side. We don't concede until the 40th minute. Yeah, I guess there is that. I just don't see any upside or benefit of that tonight to anybody. I don't think there's anyone out there who's actually benefited from that. Does Woodman benefit from that? Does Rio or Chiesa really benefit from that? Does Endo? Nothing. All we've seen there tonight is that our only backup centre-back isn't also nowhere near the levels required. So now we have Gomez, who's had 2 League Cup games and looks shocking in both of them. We've got Van Dijk, who looks like he just can't be arsed and doesn't know what to do, doesn't want to get his shorts dirty. And we've got Canade, who's, I don't know what he's doing, except not running back. He's given up on Shad and not even sprinting. And that's the account. That's all we have. That's it. No fucking option to say, well, you're out for a while, mate, you're coming in. None. What happened to doing it for Diogo? So, this is the one subject I'm always going to have time and patience for. Again, it's so difficult to discuss this situation because there is no one-size-fits-all answer to it. But like you've said, doing it for Diogo has turned into some people using that as the reason for the blip. And, you know, it's not right. Because when we won the first 5 games, it was, like you said, doing it for the memory. Now it's causing the problem. Well, if there is players who are suffering, they should be given time and help and taken out of the limelight. But that's just an excuse as well. It's just an excuse. It's an excuse with some credibility to it, but it's just an excuse that's only coming around more so because of the results. It's the one subject I'm never going to lose my temper with, and I'm never going to be disrespectful on, because I've been through grief. We've all been through grief. We all grieve differently at different times, at different speeds. And my sincere sympathy lies with anybody who's struggling like that. And I promise you, I'm never going to go in on somebody if they put their hand up and say they're struggling with it. They deserve the time, respect, and help, all the help that they can get. Since the 27th of September, Liverpool have lost more games than any other side in Europe's top 5 leagues in all competitions. Think about what I've just said there. Since the 27th of September, so last month, Liverpool have lost more games than any other side, not just top sides, any other team in the top 5 leagues in Europe in all competitions. From top to fucking bottom, relegation candidates, Liverpool have lost more games than any other team in the top 5 leagues in Europe in the last month. Let that sink in. After 450 million spent. Grander's word of the originals for the game on me, said Kingo Moreland. Thank you, bro. His mate was looking forward to this season. Was looking forward to this season. Big letdown. In 30 plus years as a supporter, I think Slot has to grow a set, said David. Mate, we were all absolutely buzzing for this season. Every single one of us were licking our lips at the new players, coming in as defending champions, talking about, could we defend it and back it up? Could we do a treble? Here we are now. It's not even end of October. We're out of the League Cup. We are falling down the league table at a rapid rate. In 1 month, we've gone from 5 points clear at the top to 7 points behind the team at the top in 1 month. Cody said, going to the Real Madrid game, worried with our form for Grandad. As I said, Madrid players, there's going to be no fear of them now coming to Anfield, is there? They're going to be coming over thinking now's the time to roll over Liverpool and take some of the pressure off our own shoulders. And somebody made a really good point. Look at Xavi Alonso. He goes and takes off in El Clasico, takes off Vinny Jr. when they're winning with 70 minutes gone, takes them off because he wants change. And that's a far higher pressure environment. Slot doesn't want to hold anybody to account just lets people go out there and have stinkers and then rewards them by putting them straight back in the team. Where's the steel, the backbone? You know, you have to put some noses out of joint if you're a Liverpool manager or any top manager. You have to have a standard. You can't talk a standard. You have to live it. You have to walk the walk. I'm tired, Craig. Keep up the good work. Said no. Sanchez, I don't think you're on your own, my friend. It's a tough one for all of us. For Grandad, it was meant to be my first ever home game, but due to a sudden loss of my grandma, I had to realise here. I'm really sorry for the loss of your grandmother. All of us sending our love and condolences to you and your family, mate. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for that. Michael Nolan said, as a United fan, I don't take any pleasure in seeing you guys suffer. I hope this helps Grandad a little bit. Gentlemen, Michael, thank you. Vision, as he said, for that Grandad, it's unacceptable that we play like that and youngsters as an scapegoat. Hopefully this helps out. Another absolute gent or wonderful, kind human being. Thank you. Rowan said, should there be a protest? Look, I think these things are an individual thing. Rowan, I don't know the answer. I don't know when you've had enough or when Mary's had enough or John has had enough. Or I don't know, mate. I can only talk to you about how I feel. And right now I feel that this is getting worse rather than better. I actually think the players displayed fight, but it's not their fault. They're fringe players. I just don't think Arna understands the club. Oh, look, I'm not going in on any of the players tonight for that. Not at all. You know, some of them are senior players that should be better than they are. And then there's younger players. So what you've heard a lot tonight is a lot of angry people. But to be fair to the chat and me, I've not seen many people at all going on the players. Because, you know, it's not on them. They can only do their best with the teammates that are around them. This is on the manager again. Not from where, said Luis Enrique or Zidane in a perfect world. So Zidane thing I've never understood. Not because he isn't a good enough coach, but because one, he doesn't speak English. And two, I just don't think he's the right... I just don't think he's the right fit for Liverpool. You know, and obviously what he did with Madrid was incredible, but I just don't think he's a good fit for us. Luis Enrique, sure, if you were him, would you leave PSG? Winning the Champions League and... you know, looking like you're going in the right direction. I wouldn't. What did he win, a quadruple last year? Yeah. I'm sorry, but he has to go. For me, 500 million spent, and this is what we get. That team tonight, disgusting on the bench. What on earth is that? No first team players. Exactly. And he has the cheek to talk about a few injuries being the reason why the bench is so weak. It's just a cop-out, isn't it? It's just a cop-out, mate. Johnny Jaywick said, you don't insult Liverpool fans and besmirch this great club in that way without consequences. 2 more games. Heart goes out to Grandad. Who is in W said, Klopp, 9 years of work is gone. Tony Storm UK said, do we think his excuse will be valid? I don't think there is a valid excuse. Yeah, not good enough. Just not good enough. Sorry, I'm just going through some of the messages that have been sent in. Craig, when you read the bench out, I genuinely thought you were joking, said Stephen Gray. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I didn't know some of the people on that bench. And look, that's on me for not knowing some of the younger players enough. But, I mean, to go back to it, Stephen, if that 11 went out, as it was, excuse me, and we had Soboslai, Ekatike, Wirtz, Kanade on the bench, you would have thought, okay, the manager's resting players, but you always need to give yourself that out. You always need to give yourself the option of saving it. You want the young lads to go out there and have a great night and put in a performance that will define them and will send them on. But if it's not working out, you need to have an escape hatch. You need to have a route. And he'd no route back into that game. And it was an intentional decision to have no route back into that game. It's Nonsense. Craig, not one starter on the bench. Joke, said Connor Fenn. Absolutely, Connor. For Grandad, I honestly feel pissed. This is not Liverpool. This is not how we set up our play. The passion from Arna is non-existent. Why is he not pissed off? This is so upsetting. We are Liverpool. So when he came out with that, people who know and follow this club know we use this competition for younger players. That boiled my blood immediately. Because he's now being a condescending fucker as well, on top of it all. Like, I know this club. I know we play younger players, but we supplement them. And those younger players under Klopp won the competition. Under Arna, we go out to Plymouth Argyle in the FA Cup with a changed team, and then we get the whole big window with the promise of competing across all competitions. And at the first chance, League Cup game at home, he puts out an absolutely piss poor team. We get knocked out, and we're all just supposed to go, well, Arna, sure, good man, off you crack. It's just nowhere near good enough. A few more games can't go on like this, said Jordan Hatch. How can any self-respecting Liverpool fan accept that a manager has thrown a cap at a competition at Anfield where Liverpool stop making excuses for Slot? No passion from Slot, said Original Classics. With the highest number of League Cups. Exactly my point. If you put yourself in Arna's shoes tonight, right? You're after managing a team that's lost 5 from 6. You've got a home tie in the League Cup. A full house, under the lights. What do? You try to get back to winning ways. You try to start building confidence. Baby steps. But no, he goes completely the opposite direction and just throws everyone under a bus and then tries to make out like it's the fucking Liverpool way. So let's have a little. I'm glad, Alex, you're giving me a chance to vent here with your Scouse accent is that strong you sound Irish, and mustn't it kill you, Alex, that it is an Irishman who's the most watched Liverpool fan on the planet? Your little xenophobic bitch brain must be fucking fuming that this Irishman is the most watched Liverpool fan channel on the net. It must kill you sitting over there in your little xenophobic bubble to know that it takes an Irishman to come over and speak honestly. It must fucking kill you. But you see here, Alex, here's the thing, bro. All you can do is watch. So just sit there, look at it, lap it up, dream about what it must be fucking like to have 10,000 people in the chat, because you'll never experience it, because you're another fucking loser on the internet who tries to come in and shaft people and undermine people. Yes, mate. Maybe, just maybe, study up on the history of Liverpool and wonder where the name Rooney comes from, where the name Carragher comes from. Where the fuck do you think they came from? You absolutely fucking dumb clown. So, again, you're not the first and you won't be the last to go with the whole you're not from here shit. But you are just another loser, bro. Never forget that. You will amount to fuck all with that attitude. And if you were my son, I'd be embarrassed. Is he resting with LBS, Defo Scapegoat? I don't know. Sorry, just trying to fix something in the chat. Yeah, cool. Look at our ancestry. My great granddad is Irish. He's just a dope, mate. That's all he is. He's a dope. Nothing else. Nothing short. It's just a dope. Simple as that. Hypothetically, if FSG really sacked Slot right now, would you accept their decision? Of course. Look, I don't think there's a single Liverpool fan on the planet who could say, if they sacked him tonight, that it wasn't coming. Like, we're not saying we're all there yet, and I'm not trying to say that every single Liverpool fan on the planet wants Arne Slot out, not at all. But it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be a knee-jerk reaction after 1 or 2 games, is what I'm trying to say. Please, Arne Slot, hold that. I mean, well done, mate. Because you know, if there's one thing United are at the minute, it's absolutely flying. Oh no, you're not in Europe, and you're not going to win that again either. So, I love that you're trying to drag us down to that level, but like ultimately, bro, we've had a pretty decent last few years, and we'll get better than this. So hold that. George Duca said, it's a super sticker. Sorry, George. Thank you, George. Dorn of War said, we last played well on 6th of February. Let that sink in. Durf Fizzle said, Craig, will you be commenting in Ireland's post-match interview? When I get the quotes in, yes. Oh, hang on. Oh, fuck off, Arna. Fuck off, you absolute clown. Wait till you hear this. Lewis Steele just posted this quote from Arna Slot. I'm not even joking. I saw City's 11 and they didn't have one starter from the weekend, but it felt like their best 11. That is a bit of an insight. Chelsea can bring Estavio on. After I made 2 substitutions tonight, we had 6 teenagers. Fuck right off, you absolute delusional clown. Fuck right off. You had the choice to make that bench stronger. You spent £450 million, you absolute clown. And you're on there talking about other teams and what they can bring on? That is absolutely delusional. That is delusional, Slot. You don't get to do that and then come up with that excuse. You absolute clown. Absolute clown. That is bullshit. I hope the journalist called him out on that. Mate, you spend £450 million and you think you get to cry arse about not having a deep enough squad. Fuck right off. Palace had that game won before kick-off when they seen the team and bench and they knew that would beat us. I actually cannot believe this is true. I'm going to bring it on screen because I want you to see it. Let me just make this bigger for you. Read that. Read that. I saw City's 11 and they didn't have one starter from the weekend, but it felt like their best 11. This is a bit of an insight. Chelsea can bring Estavio on. After I made 2 substitutions tonight, we had 6 teenagers. And why was that, Arna? Why was it that after you made 2 substitutions, we had teenagers on? It's because you didn't put any good players in the fucking squad, you idiot. That's why. That's on you. Not on the recruitment, not on the squad depth. That's on the absolute clown who put that team out. Who didn't stack the bench with players. And then tried to use it as an excuse. Fuck off. Just fuck right off. Ekitike, Salah, Virgil, Kanade, Bradley, maybe Wirtz, Gravenberch if he's not feeling injured. All options you could have utilised. But no, you just say other teams have deeper squads than us. You're an absolute clown, Slot. An absolute fucking clown. That's it. That is it. He's delusional to the extreme now. I can't believe he actually came out with that. I can't believe that's a real quote. Genuinely. Soboslai. Fuck off. Am I wrong here, like? Am I wrong? Is that... Oh, fuck. I'm just going to leave that up there for people coming in for a minute. He's using the bench as an excuse. The squad he picked. He picked. And he's now using it as an excuse as to others having more squad depth. Here. Fuck off. If I was after ponying up that money as an owner and I seen that, I'd be firing him right now. I'd be on the blower and he'd be gone. Out of the stadium, fuck off, pack your shit, you're gone. That is absolutely pathetic. Pathetic. So, here's another one for you. On his team selection, he said this: I haven't changed my mind after the game because with our starters, we've struggled to find a result against Crystal Palace as well. I'm going to read that again. I haven't changed my mind after the game because with our starters, we've struggled to get a result against Crystal Palace as well. Maybe, Arna, just maybe, are you the problem? Are you the problem? Because starters can't do it, backups can't do it, mixture of the team can't do it. Maybe it's you that needs to change, Arna. Maybe it's you that needs to fucking wake up. He's turning us into a laughing stock. And he's doing it on millions of pounds a year. And jolly up. He pissed off to Dubai when we're in the midst of a crisis. And, he's a... Maverick said, for the granddad, don't worry, everything will be fine. Daniel said, in my opinion, if you have the gall to throw this game comp, you better win that Villa game. Forget the Man City. Madrid game should walk if we lose the next one. The Lolly said, where is Slot in the next interview break? Dubai? I don't know, mate, but he should be wherever he wants because at that point he shouldn't have a job if this continues. We have the players to thrive on the Glasner style, said Dylan Bossman. Chad said, is it me or does Nallo prefer to be first to the locker room? I was also pissed at the form towards the end of last year. Slot is destroying decades and decades of a winning culture. Not once has he ever said this is on me. Not once has he ever put his hand up and said, I need to be better. I'll sort this out. Not once. Not once. No accountability. No leadership. Coward. Coward. Throwing players under the bus. Absolute coward. Luke said, as much as I understand Arna out, I don't want us to be like other clubs sacking managers mid-season. This season is what last season should have been. He needs head checked for the decisions made. But Luke, what you've said in its own context, fair enough, Luke. But when you throw in the delusion, when you throw in the, others have a deeper squad, our first team couldn't beat Palace. I mean, what the fuck chance have we got? If you're saying, well, our first team can't beat Palace, so that's it. I'm not angry at you, Luke, at all. Your point is valid, mate, but you can't just keep doing this, dude. Like, we can't keep seeing this shit and this delusional gaffer just constantly coming out with one-liners that make us look embarrassing. What a game to watch. It's on Slot and why. Play our weakest 11. Go big. Sorry, but I'm losing patience. Bamba said, I feel so bad for Chiesa. He should start with the first team, not with the kids. For Grandad, said Darren. Thank you, Darren. Tony Marston said, Slot has lost the dressing room, no question. Owen Mulhern said, scary thing is, I'm getting used to losing, very worrying. He's losing me with those comments tonight. Like, whatever else about that result and the selection, his delusion after the game is just riling me up. It really, I can't believe these are real quotes. I cannot believe that this absolute clown came out and said this. I saw City's 11 and they didn't have one starter from the weekend, but it felt like their best 11. That's a bit of an insight. Chelsea can bring Estavio in. I made 2 substitutions. We had 6 teenagers. You chose to put that squad out. You chose to give the underperforming players a rest. Because you don't have any accountability, Arna. You're just an excuse merchant. Grow a pair. Callum said, watching Liverpool thought the very worst to being on the very top of Europe. I feel that it's all one big cycle. The phase we're going through won't last and it will get better. This too shall pass for the lad's granddad. It's not going to get better if he keeps doing the same things. It's not. It's not. And he's not taking, like I keep saying, go back to last week's interview with Andy Robertson. He put his hands up and he said it like it was. This lad's just making excuses. It's just not good enough. The United guy cut his hair if Liverpool lose 5 in a row. Tom said, I have to say, I'll defend the manager for as long as the manager's in post because that's the type of person I am. However, it's becoming increasingly hard to do so, I think, like you, Craig. That's commendable, Tom. And like I said, I'm not here to tell anybody else how to feel about the manager, but you can, I can't believe what he's saying out loud. I can't believe it, Tom. What formation and lineup do you think against Villa? Formation, we'd like to see 4-4-2. What we will see is probably 4-3-3, and what the team will be, it'll probably be the same when you're thinking in your head. The same underperforming players that, aren't held accountable. But he'll talk a great game and he'll make 50 excuses, and heaven forbid they play a long throw in or a long ball. Remember what I said, Amarim was better. Now look, mate, Amarim's won nothing. Nothing. I don't get what you're saying. He's won nothing. It's not like United are top of the league and he went out of the competition the round before. So, they're equally as bad as each other at this point, except one of them has a league title. Timpanu said, no identity or structure or breaking relationships with players by throwing them under the bus. No standards and absolutely classless for Grandad. Liverpool are 6-7 Man U FC. Fair enough. Gobind, thank you. Almel, music, thank you. JP Rascal said, more passes and possession but more boring football. And 3 more goals shipped as well. Team was weak. Arna out if he stays until the end of the season will not be in European spot. We need to go back to high intensity. I'm so sad watching Liverpool. Plexinated said, for Grandad, thank you, bro. Our team would thrive in a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3. Thank you, Dylan. Gobind said, Chiesa was disrespected by being forced to play 90. Again, I don't disagree, sir. I don't disagree. Jeremy said, how do you rate Slot amongst Premier League managers at this point? Do you think that the culture of Klopp has finally worn off with some of the players? The culture of Klopp, yes, that's worn off because we're not working hard enough. Simple as that. We always had concerns that we were starting too slowly with Arna last season, but we always found a way to turn it around in the second half. Now we just look like he doesn't know how to stop the rot. It just looks like he doesn't know what to do. He really just feels like he does not know what to do because none of the answers he's given after games are realistic. It's all just self-preservation. It's pathetic. I've no other word for it than pathetic. Something small for the lads. Grandad, love from Galway. You'll never walk alone. Slot's just a one-hit wonder, in my opinion. He's 3 games to get his shit together, or else bye-bye. So we have a poll running. Again, up to each person. We've never had this many votes ever before. We're heading towards 15,000 votes. We said, are you Slot in or out? Again, no interference from me. You vote away. Joe McPherson said, need to get this off my chest. My dad and I from Edinburgh have made the trip. Our first Anfield experience, that was it. £200 down, tickets and travel alone. Heartbroken. Sorry for venting. Joe, I don't blame you for venting. And my sympathies lie with yourself and many others, bro, in your situation. That Arna felt didn't need respecting for your hard-earned money that you paid to go and watch. And you said that was your first time down with your dad. And that's what you get rewarded with. And look, I'm not saying we have to win every game that people go to. But he basically threw that away. And he basically stuck 2 fingers up to everybody who braved those shitty conditions and spent their hard-earned money to go and watch that. That is what. Like, we're supposed to talk about the badge and what it represents. He's just stuck 2 fingers up to those Liverpool fans and people like your good self. Sorry, where was I? He'd thrown the lads under the bus to potentially save his job. We'll beat Villa and get beat by City and Madrid, then he'll be gone. Chad Husker said, let's get Grandad to a better performance. Thank you, Chad. Gentleman as always. For that Grandad, no heart, no mentality, no fight, no passion. This is on the manager tonight, said David Ryan Thomas. Thank you, David. Totskiist said, I'm ironing it in, but respect all for the Grandad. Thank you, sir. I want to be ironing it in, like I said, mate. I want this to turn around. So, look, I'm going to ask, please don't send in any more super chats because I got to get through these and then get the player ratings done. So, again, thank you to everyone that is sending in a super chat. And I just don't want to not read out your comment if you send it. So, please don't send in any more. And again, thank you to everybody, especially who's putting the stuff in on behalf of that gentleman's granddad. No Liverpool boss should ever feel the team to lose, said Joels. Adrian said, no wonder he didn't do a pre-match press conference for Grandad. Thank you, sir. MJCH said it from day one. Slot as a Poundland Ten Hag. Fritz Frank said, thoughts on Arna joking and laughing with the linesman multiple times as we were 2-0 down. Maybe it's just me, but I was triggered. I said it during the game, dude. I said it during the game. He's there laughing when everything's falling around us and he thinks it's funny. Arna choosing a squad that is weak under the circumstances is unforgivable. If we rest the starting 11 and lose to Villa, his job is in big trouble. Alexander said, Klopp in, maybe we can send Grandad to a real game. Bit of positivity, but I thought Ramsey played well. Yeah, that's a fair shout. Cumbria Clean and Co. He wasn't too bad. Richie Byrne said, Craig, I can't believe that team selection tonight. Nalo sent off again. I know, I feel for the young lad, I really do. For Grandad from Donegal, thank you, Zishanov, very, very kind of you, gent. Will Gay really want to come to Liverpool now? I mean, I can't answer that one, mate, but I'm not as confident as I would be. Big fan of Arna, but the excuses in recent form is making me lean towards getting rid of him, but who would replace him? I'm going to give some thought to that because it's a question I've been asked quite a bit and I've always honestly answered it and said I don't know. But at this point, I'm probably going to have to start giving some thought process to it because, this cannot go on. Patrick, thank you, mate. The slot machine is running out, said Arkwolf. Iman said at this point, Arne Slot has lost the plot. He's clueless. Silver Dagger said, watching the press conference and can't stand Slot's face at the minute. Jamie said Slot has lost the plot. LFC Marcus said no change and still hope for a better result. Definition of insanity. Love from Sweden. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you, Marcus. Orbamba said I can forgive him a lot if he said I don't give a fuck about this competition. For me, mate, look, I said we built a squad to compete across all competitions and then he throws this competition under the bus. It's just, for me, it's not good enough. Resting players, but plays both our fullbacks. Cries about low blocks. You're a Liverpool manager. You find a way. He needs to go. Too big of an ego and a whinge bag, said Kevin. CJ King said, give him 5 more games. What do you think? For me, it's up to the next international break, CJ. Just my view, mate. He's got Villa, Real Madrid, and City. If he doesn't win 2 of those games, or if he loses 2, I should say, I think it's time to go. Because then he's not turning it around. We're not even seeing... Tonight was a chance to get a momentum-building win or a confidence-building win. But he just threw the competition away. Disrespected everyone that paid the money to go there. Didn't care. Sam said, shut it, Alex. Welsh, Scottish, English, Welsh, doesn't matter. We share similar language, culture and history. We say no to xenophobia here as LFC fans. Thank you for your support, Sam. Your man's just been a dope, mate. Simple as that, but thank you, Sam. Klopp was the first diagnosing and taking the book. I don't know what that means, Adam, sorry. Just reacting that xenophobic muppet. I worked with many Irish the last couple of years and you're an amazing bunch. Love from Hungary. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. It doesn't matter where we're from. Like I said, I got into Liverpool just watching one night and seeing them lose to Arsenal, loved the stadium, and then start researching, obviously, the history of Liverpool, the Irish into it, and it just felt like a natural fit for me. But to have idiots like that fella try to undermine any fan by going, oh, funny Scouse accent. Oh, that's okay then. I'm sure he only listens to music from the town he grew up in, or he only buys stuff from the town he grew up. These people are just, they don't deserve our attention, really. But I do appreciate you stepping in and standing up. Thank you. Paul said, Jurgen, please help. Frozen said, after tonight, he still doesn't know his starting 11. Luke Johnston said, the only thing we'll remember this season for is the kits. Good point, Luke. Vava Knife said, last season he even said all the right things. What happened? No idea, mate. There was a moment around 70 where cameras caught Soboslai shaking his head in disgust and incredulity written all over his face, losing faith. I didn't see that one, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was. How could you do that but shake your head? Will said, evening Craig, Arna's decisions in the last 5 weeks have become undefendable. Feel like he threw his young players under the bus tonight. I'm having serious concerns about what he's doing now. Jay, thank you, mate. And Guest 217 said, I see if it was all Klopp's team, tactic squad, inheritance, this is the real Arne Slot and it's a sinking ship. Appreciate your insight. Thank you. You'll never walk alone if you want a wig, brother. I don't thank you, Mr. Hogan. Genuinely, if I was bald, I'd tell you I'm bald. The only thing I can't grow hair on is my face properly, unfortunately. But I have a full head of hair, as I've said many times. And my missus, she just hates me with hair. And I actually feel dirty with hair as well. But yeah, either way, you know, cheers. As a Scotsman, how did Ramsey do? He did okay, Cody. For somebody that hadn't played in the first team for 3 years, mate, you did okay. Ladies and gents, I'm off to record the player ratings video. If you want to submit yours, you can do so with the QR code on the screen there now. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll try and pick the bones out of this and figure out what's going on. But until then, thank you so much for all of your time and support tonight. It's just a really difficult time for us as Liverpool fans right now, and I don't know the answers, but we'll try and figure it out together soon.